us?
Yeah. Dear Lord, as this month of May begins, we find ourselves in unique and unsettling times. All of us are struggling to find hope and learning to live with the coronavirus in Geauga County. Faced with extremely challenging times, the initial reaction of some people is one of fear. It is possible for anyone to rise above fear, try to keep calm and unafraid. Jesus said, I leave you with peace, my peace I give you. Not as the world gives, do I give you to you. Let your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. The peace of Christ is within us. No condition or circumstance has the power to upset us or make us fearful. The peace of Christ is our peace. The strength of Christ is our strength. Nothing can disturb the calm and peace of our souls. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jim. Okay. Jerry, you want to report on the financials from last week?
Yes. Okay, on April 28th, since there was no session, I approved financials. Amongst other financials were included a supplemental from the Commissioner's Office into the Capital Reserve Fund for contract services, cash transfer from the Commissioners to the Sheriff for the local match on the VAWA grant, number 2019 WFVA2 8214 and 2018 WFVA2 8214A. Encumbrances then and now from JFS to Ohio Guidestone for November 2019 Comprehensive Case Management and Employment Program expenses not previously encumbered, and contracts for maintenance to Fiore's Group LLC for lawn care at various county locations, and vouchers of $336,875 from the Commissioner's Office to Corsa for our 2020 property and liability insurance premium, and $268,819.25 from the Engineer's Office to Morton Salt for the delivery of road salt, $94,208 from the Engineer's Office to Valley Ford for a Freightliner 108 SD tandem axle truck. And then for other items, on April 28th, approved for aging and accepted the resignation of Bernadette Glia, Financial and Eligibility Specialist, to be effective June 4th, 2020. Commissioner's Office approved and executed the Unemployment Compensation Service Agency Agreement between Sedgwick Claims Management Services Incorporated and Geauga County for unemployment services for the period of May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, in the amount of $1,205. Approved and executed the Workers' Compensation Service Agency Agreement between Comp Management LLC, a Sedgwick CMS company, and Geauga County for workers' compensation services for the period May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021, in the amount of $10,350. For Water Resources, approved hiring Kyle Capote, the position of full-time summer help, to be effective May 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2020, or the start of school, whichever comes first, at the rate of $10 per hour for up to 21 weeks, maximum 840 hours. Approved hiring Lucas Lundblad to the position of full-time summer help to be effective May 4th, 2020 through September 30th, 2020, or the start of school, whichever comes first, at the rate of $10.25 per hour for up to 21 weeks, maximum of 840 hours. And on April 30th, 2020, for the Commissioner's Office, approved and executed the Cleveland Clinic Lifestyle EAP Service Agreement between Cleveland Clinic Wellness Enterprises LLC and Geauga County for lifestyle employment assistance program services for a 3-year period beginning May 1st, 2020, in the amount of $25.80 per covered employee per year based on 595 employees, $15,351 per year.
Okay.
Okay, today's financials include a cash transfer from the general fund to Core Technology to pay a portion of their 2020 funding. And among the vouchers are $19,350 from DES and the Sheriff's Office to Inspiron Logistics for emergency response notification support and software for reverse 911 and other emergency alerts. and $10,000 from the Treasurer's Office to Smart Bill Limited for the printing and mailing of second-half property tax bills. And then finally, a revenue certification from the Juvenile Court for additional CASA revenue for 2020.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Get a motion to approve the financials?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
And then the next one is a service contract with Sutsina and Associates. And this is going to be the consultant for the financing of the new county buildings at such time that we move forward with that project. It's good through the end of next year.
Okay. And they're just gonna help with some advisory stuff as far as
They help-
the financial.
Yeah, they help prepare some of the paperwork and stuff and work with
Right.
our bond counsel in order to prepare an offering
Okay,
for financing.
okay. Pretty good.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Item 5.
Hey, good
Good morning. Today, the first two items on our agenda for the board are related to the new steel building that we built last year, and there was a small portion of the work that was wrapped up this spring. So item 5 is to pay the final about $9,900 to close out that contract. They completed the project on budget. And so item 5 is to make that final payment, change order, because it's $0 change. And then item 6 is a request to release that buffer for that building.
This was the one that had to go back out for bid?
Correct.
Yeah.
So do you think that this year's material costs will go down, or do you think that they'll stay about the same? What are you guys hearing?
So far, what we're seeing on the bids we've opened on roadway materials and stuff like that, asphalt and stuff, it's virtually the same. Some of the aggregates are up slightly, but we got some of those bids in right when this coronavirus thing was happening, so we haven't
see.
really seen the reflection of what
Yeah.
it's really done.
I see.
But I'd say material, anything that's coming overseas is gonna be up though. Like, if we would've done this steel building this year, I think it would've been a little more painful. Yeah. But overall, the economy's so flat, it's hard to say what labor's gonna do.
Let me ask you, I know we just paid for some salt, what's the thinking on that? Is that just a reload for next year? Or is
That was the balance of the contract
Oh,
from
okay.
last season.
Right.
Yeah, we just entered in, we just submitted for next year's, was due last week. We submitted that. And we put in a fairly normal order, about 8,000 tons. We do have quite a bit in reserve, but we did it because we believe the prices are gonna be down on salt. The demand was so low this year, and most people's storage bins are pretty full, so the salt companies are gonna most likely give us a favorable.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you.
We could have reduced how much we got, because we have some on hand, but we thought, we have that big building, we're taking advantage of the
Stockpiling.
market.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, no, that's smart, you're able to pick and choose when you want to buy there, for sure. I would imagine your salt usage had to be down this year.
yeah, it was down
Yeah.
about 30%.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, it's misleading because we still have to go out when there's an inch of snow or if there's a foot of snow.
Right.
And
Regardless, yeah,
we weren't out as many times as normal, but still
sure,
more than you would think with how little snow we got.
good deal.
And this year, did you use all salt or did you use a salt cinder mix?
It was a combination of two, depending on the temperatures. Yeah, we've virtually gone to all salt.
Are you guys getting away from that brine stuff, or?
The only thing we use it for is to pre-wet it to spinners.
Yeah.
It cuts down on scatter. We're not pre-wetting the roads. We went through a series of doing that, see how effective it was. The problem with that is it has to be kind of the perfect temperature, and it has to be no rain before it snows, and it seems to
Always.
always rain and then turn into
Yeah.
snow. So it wasn't as effective as it is for other areas of the state. But we do use it on the spinner, and it pre-wets the salt, so it's activated before it hits the ground, and then it also causes it to not scatter. You have so much, you guys, I'm
Bouncing
sure you've
off.
seen it bounce off into the ditch. Well,
Right.
that's all waste.
Right.
So it does make a big difference with that, how fast it can activate.
Well, hopefully we're done with that. I heard it's supposed to maybe.
Friday,
snow on Friday or
Saturday. I'm hoping we don't have to set the
Yeah,
trucks back
I was
up
watching the
again.
news this morning, they said the latest it snowed was, I think it was like in 2002, they said it was like May 21st or something, we actually got it.
Was that the
Yeah,
latest?
yeah. But hopefully we don't break that record, yeah. Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions or comments related to the building here? Hearing none. Okay.
Make a motion for 5 and 6?
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yep.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Item 7 is our new building roof. We currently have about 40,000 square feet of our maintenance facility is a shingle roofed building, and there are multiple locations where the roof has leaked for years. We've had some temporary repairs, but we have in our office area, the maintenance garage, we're replacing ceiling tiles, and there's water damage that's every time it rains. So we went out to bid for that. The estimate was $400,000, and we're requesting that the board approve and award to Chester Miller, who's a local guy, he's in Lake County, but $326,000. So that's 40,000 square feet of tear off, repair the damaged substrate, and then new ice and water shield and a metal roof over that same 40,000 square feet of building.
And now, Joe, you budgeted for this last year?
Yeah, this was in last year's budget.
Okay. And, I mean, you know, in light of the current situation we're in, I mean, you know, I would imagine that you guys have weighed the importance of this project. I mean,
Oh, absolutely, yeah, we've, and I don't know, I was gonna interject that at the next couple, but if you wanted to talk about that. We've done a couple things. In fact, I was on a conference call with Columbus yesterday for about an hour about, well, you know, projections of what we're seeing on our side of the industry. Obviously, we're not affected by gas tax. We don't get anything from only gas tax. We don't get anything from the sales tax, so we're not affected by that. But we're looking at numbers, and the state's running numbers and seeing that the volume of traffic's down about 36%, and they're trying to project it. Our income comes in roughly 3 months behind when it's generated. So right now, we're still, even what we just got this month is almost right on target for the normal, but we don't need the end of the year to come and be a problem. So, there's, my funding stream is kind of threefold, if you will. We have the road levy, we have the gas tax and the license tax. The levy, they're expecting only about a 5% decrease in that, which is only a couple $100,000 to us. But what we did on that side, where we program a lot of our improvement projects, is on that side. So what we've done is we made the decision to not go ahead with Washington Street this year, which was $2.5 million, which is more than enough to close anything that could happen on both sides of my budget. And but we are going to fill in with maybe a couple of small resurfacing jobs so that we're not that far behind next year. So you'll see some of that coming up. But that'll give us a buffer. And then what we've also done is you heard we bought a truck. That was ordered before all this started, but we've stopped the order on a few pieces of equipment, big diesel sign truck, and then there was a mechanic's truck that had a lot of equipment on it that was stopped. So we stopped a few equipment orders that we could, and then cut back on some materials. So we're looking at picking up about $500,000 to $600,000 on the other side. So we still, with everything going on and the projections of what we'll lose in the gas tax, I factored in about $1 million to $1.5 million buffer, that if things are really as bad as they could be. will still be solid.
Mhm.
At least that's my belief, but yeah, it was unfortunate, here we kept washing the street down. Tim, you know, we
Yeah.
fought and fought to get federal funding on that, couldn't get it, so we finally fought,
Part
you know,
part of the budget is
we
due.
did it and put it in the budget, and
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, this hits, and that one is too big of a project, and there's a lot of variables, a lot of underground work in that it's not like a resurfacing job where you know, costs are always the cost.
Yep.
But once you start putting the shovel in the ground, you know, things can change. So we thought overall, and the huge scope of that job, that it was time to pull that and wait for next year for that.
Yeah, that's probably a good
And
idea.
hopefully, you know, if the budget really doesn't get crushed like it could from this corona, that we'll come back next year with a decent carryover, and that project won't be such a burden on us, so.
Sure, and then like the equipment type of stuff, I mean, you know, some of these, you know, it doesn't hurt to press the pause button, even if we're, unless you absolutely
Right.
need to get,
Right.
you know, a piece of equipment in that's,
Right.
you know,
And that's what
running
we've
your
done.
whole show,
Yeah.
but the equipment, you know, just to put it off a quarter, even
Right.
just to say, hey, wait, we're just gonna be,
Yeah.
let's just wait and check and see, you know.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, you know, you can always come back, you know, in the fall, and if things are better, then
Right.
reevaluate.
And we'll know more in
Yeah.
the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that-
We had a couple things we positive that happened to our budget here through this. We were pushing pretty hard, and we got some extra funding through the CEAO, another $300,000. And then also, we're hopeful, we haven't got it yet, but it looks like we'll get, potentially get another $250,000 safety grant for the signal at Haskins and Washington Street.
Right.
So, you know, there's over $500,000 that helps fill some of these voids that was not on the books before.
Would we still be able to get the ODOT safety money for the Auburn corners there, or not unless we do that project?
For,
Or for the, you know.
Auburn Mayfield.
oh, that is going.
Oh, not that one, I'm sorry.
Auburn
I'm not
Mayfield is
Auburn.
2021.
Yes.
It's next
Yeah.
year. That is a done deal.
Yeah,
But that's not our money. We were able to get safety money for the state.
okay.
We helped make that happen. But that is going, that's the one you're talking about.
Cambridge and Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bainbridge and Washington,
Bainbridge and
that's, we're trying for that for next year. We're hopeful, and it looks like we should be able to get some funding through NOACA. Now, granted, that was before all this changed, so they're not sure what NOACA funds are gonna look like. And a lot of their revenue does come from gas tax stream, which.
So the plan for that one there at Bainbridge in Washington, what is the plan then, to put a signal or?
To tee the intersection in, take that acute angle off, tee it in, and put a signal in, yes.
And then the big project was go all the way on up and fix.
All the way down to 44.
Yeah.
And that's the one that was
Yeah.
supposed to go this year.
Right.
And then that other
We're
one
gonna
was
hold
next
off
year.
on that.
Yeah, so we're hoping they'll both get built next year on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were hoping, we were gonna get, Joe and I, for the last probably year and a half, have been working, trying to find funding, you know, because that used to be a federally funded road there, so we were trying to see if we could get some participation, and I think we've pulled on every string
We
we
did,
could possibly.
Yeah.
But, so Joe, I think, was gonna bite the bullet and put it into this, you know, 2021 budget, but I think, you know, it's probably the prudent thing to do is wait before you start digging into that, because there is a lot of unknowns on that widening, and there's.
Yeah, we
drains up
inherited
and
that
down.
from the state, that's
Yeah.
old 422, so
Right.
we don't even have great records on what's
What's
in the
underground,
ground.
yeah.
You know,
Good, okay. Any other questions or comments for Joe?
I guess, Joe, the only other thing, I know that you've talked about this in the past, is what other options, as far as like for 44 in the curbs, if any?
Oh, up in Newberry there?
Yeah, to do any more widening or
Yeah.
any type of,
I've talked to the state a few times on that. I don't know if you noticed, a couple of years ago, they went and spent some money, some safety money on kind of widening the hill back across from Music Street. They have no plans on the books to do anything with the curves in general, except for these little things like push the banks back and give a
Yeah.
little more sight distance. Yeah, that would, there's accidents there quite often.
yeah.
Something I can continue to push them on. They have a new deputy director up there, It's pretty easy to deal with, and he might have a different vantage point on that. One of the tough things is a lot of the safety went through Brian Blaney at ODOT, and he left ODOT. He was a great contact, now he's at NOACA. So while I still have his contact, he doesn't have the influence over on ODOT. So, but yeah, I'll definitely follow up on that more.
Hey, Joe, I got one other question, you know, as far as, and I know, you know, talking to you about your program and how you keep up with the roads and the paving, and, you know, we have fantastic roads in Jog County, thank you. But, you know, hypothetically, if things did get to a point where you really started feeling the pinch from this and it carried on, you know, into the next year and follow and so on and so on, would you be able to tweak that, how often you are maintaining and, you know?
We do and we are.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that are going on. We're playing some catch-up. We feel we're in a lot better shape than the state, but what we've done is we switched to, in the last 6-7 years, we've switched to a different polymer-based surface that lasts longer. It's more resistant to buggies too and stuff like that. It's more skid resistant. It's a little more expensive, but you're putting about 20% less down, so it kind of washes. We've seen the performance so much better on that. We're getting 15 to 17 years where conventional asphalt, we were getting 10 to 12.
So it's a little more fun, but.
Yeah, we're just starting to realize that now as far as cost gain. So, and Shane, could you elaborate on that too? In our 5-year plan, we've been talking, we feel like we're about 1.5 to 2 years behind where we really want to be, but, you know, as money is working out and we just keep pushing. So we were saying by 22, we're exactly where we want to be. Well, this is probably going to hurt us another year, so probably 23. You probably agree with that, Shane?
Yeah.
But after that, we feel that we're in pretty good shape because of the longevity of the newer mixes we're using.
So they're able to stretch this a little further.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. And then that frees up some money to do some safety projects too that we've been looking at doing. And instead of picking away one here and there, it helps. And we've done really well getting some federal money through CAO for bridges and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have 187 bridges, and everybody talks about the pavement because they don't like they find a pothole, but 187 bridges cost every bit as much as all
very expensive.
you know, 240 miles of road. So it's a balancing act.
So as far as your operations go, after you get done with the new storage building and, you know, putting a new roof on this, on your current building, I mean, where do you think you're at as far as capital projects?
As far as on the facility, we really had no further plans over there right now. We really could use another mechanics bay, but it's not even, I mean, we haven't even gone beyond saying we could really use that. You know, so that, maybe some potential, a little bit of paving, but that's, you know, way out there, see what the budget's doing in the next 3 to 5 years. But I don't have anything on my radar for the next at least 3 years.
Well, you got a great operation over there.
Appreciate it.
Running nice. All you guys do a great job, and I hear a lot of good things from the contractors I talk to across the area that I deal with, and you know, you got a really well-run operation there. So,
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
With the OPWC money,
Well,
you know, a projection,
Yeah.
usually a township or municipality gets 50% of the road project. I mean,
Right.
are they, you know, when are you gonna get the word that maybe they're gonna
Here's what
participate
happened.
45%
Well,
instead
how
of
Public
50?
Works is broken into 2 pots in essence. I mean, there's more, but there's emergency and then there's some other stuff. But the 2 real pots we get are the SKIP and the LTIP. LTIP is approved already, so those are all moving forward. SKIP, though, is not approved, so they're all in a holding pattern. So that's one of the major projects we have this year too, that if they don't release those funds, we're just not going to do it. It's a section of Auburn down by Bell and part of Bell on that. And you'll see that one of the next items here is to do some drainage improvements to get ready for that job. But if they don't release those funds, I imagine they'll release them next year, and then next year's budget will be reduced to make up for this loss of revenue. But yeah, Ohio Public Works took a pretty good hit. But like I said, the LTIP is actually last year's money that they already have,
Right.
so those have all been released. So
Thanks.
Just a quick question. We were talking about our solid waste district building, and that's probably on hold as well. We haven't even had a meeting there to even discuss it lately, but yeah, we were running into some challenges, you know, with the bids going out to bid for that building, and coming in much higher than we thought, you know. And maybe this will change that, I don't know.
It may, yeah, we haven't seen what it has done to buildings and infrastructure that way, but in the roadway area, we're pretty much holding the last year's numbers
Possibly.
so far.
So one of the things that we're running is the prevailing wage. Is Chester Miller, is he all set up for that?
Yes, we set up the
Okay.
prevailing wage, yeah,
Okay.
and we do all the checks on that.
Okay.
Pull all the records.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, apparently he's done some other prevailing wage, so he was actually familiar with it.
Good.
That's part of, before we, anytime, no matter, road job or whatever, if there's a contractor we have not worked with before, and don't have familiarity with them, we send out a whole packet. They have to, you know, answer all kinds of stuff. What equipment do you have? What debt do you have? What's your references on jobs you've done, this size, stuff like, we end up getting a pretty good sized book back from them before we even consider, asking for you guys to
Sure.
award.
I know you're pretty familiar with that process anyway, so, yeah.
We do, yeah, we do.
Yeah. Got it down.
Everything we do is really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Make a motion, 7.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep, thank you.
Number 8 is, as Jill mentioned, a drainage project on Bell Street. There's about 1,000 feet of storm sewer running along the south side of Bell, and it is in a pretty severe state of failure. Probably every 50 or 80 feet, there's a sinkhole, and portions of this sewer is 12 to 13 feet deep. So part of our pavement preservation plan included resurfacing Bell Street, and that project is one of the OPWC projects. It's in limbo and on hold temporarily. So preemptively, we intend to replace this storm sewer and restore the embankment and the shoulder next to the road to make sure that the road, in fact, lasts as long as we want it to, so we're not back there sooner fixing the road as well. This is drainage improvements in Bell Street, CH10, Section E in Newbury Township, $175,000 is what the construction estimate is for that.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes.
The item number 9 is the resurfacing of Caves Road, sections A through D, that is from 87 all the way up to Mayfield Road. This is the last phase of our Caves Road project that's been going on for quite a few years now. We started, like Bell Street, we started with some drainage improvements. Our crews went out and did quite a bit of maintenance, moving ditches back, fixing dry pipes, building the shoulders and embankments to proper configurations, preparation for this. We resurfaced sections E and F from Mayfield to Wilson Mills last year, and then this would be the final piece of the county portions of Cave Road. So it'll be resurfaced from 87 all the way to Wilson Mills.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And this is Ohio Public Works funded on the good side, on the LTIP side. That funding is approved to proceed. So on July 1, we'll get an official letter, but we've been given the preemptive approval that these projects can be put out to bid.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes.
Gentlemen, yeah?
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Only last thing too, congratulations on your reelection, Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
Typically a little easier, but.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see
Good
you
job,
guys.
Ralph. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Okay. So we got the building department here this morning.
Yes, Dan is.
Dan? Hey, Dan.
How are you?
Good.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
All right. So, is requesting to approve and execute resolution number 20-051 proclaiming May 2020 as Building Safety Month. Do you just want to touch on that real quick, Dan, and just let us know what that
Yeah, the
entails?
International Code Council, for the last 40 years, it's the 40th annual Building Safety Month for the month of May. This year is Safer Buildings, Safer Communities, Safer World. It's time to sort of take recognition to the construction industry and recognize everybody involved with it, everybody from the fire safety inspectors to the tradesmen, laborers, architects, engineers, and building inspectors. Just to take time to notice the effort that they put into it to try to create safe structures for the public to have it.
Great. From what I've heard, you guys have been very busy still throughout this, so.
Our new home starts are a little down from last year. We did 14 new home starts last month, though. So we're still moving along. We're up on the number of permits that we've had, just because we're doing a lot of decks and basement remodels and little additions and stuff. So
Sure.
the guys are still busy, but we're moving along pretty good considering what's going on.
And we were still able to service all the residents that, in a timely fashion?
Yeah, it worked out good. We're pretty mobile. The guys have their iPads, as long as we could, keep the office staff for phone calls and entering inspections. It shows up on the guys' iPads and they're out running around and, catching all the inspections that were required. So
Great.
the only thing we pushed off was doing some of the interior inspections on some of the occupied houses for a little bit there. But now that they're geared up with masks and gloves, they're going into residents and asking them to open the doors for them, and so they don't have to touch or do much inside any occupied houses. So,
Excellent. So you guys are adapting.
yeah, seems to be working out pretty good.
Very good. Do you need anything, or are you all set there? Can we help with anything? Or?
No, we're doing good. We were looking for purchase of a new vehicle, but we put that on hold for right now.
Okay.
It was a vehicle actually that wouldn't start the other day, so we had our sheriff's department come up and look at it, and they were able to get it started, and there was a module that went wrong with it or something that they ended up replacing on it. So
Okay.
we're keeping it running, but right now we should be good with it until we see what's going on revenue-wise.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Are you getting less foot traffic in the last 6 weeks?
Actually, it seems like initially we did. The last 2 weeks, it seems like it's picked up a little. Thanks to Glenn, we sort of reconfigured our office a little bit with plexiglass across our counter to allow the public to come back in and make it easy. We're still doing a drop-off box and pick-up box. We're asking people to call in ahead of time so that we can process everything, so they can just come in, pick up their permit, and walk out, as opposed to standing at the counter waiting for service.
Right.
But it seems like it's picking up a little bit, actually.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Did we get a motion for that? No. Okay.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second?
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Yes. Very good. Okay, Dave?
I just want to give a
Hi,
shout
Dave.
out to, good morning, give a shout out to Dan. He's a very calming force, but he's moving forward. I think you hit it on the head when you said he's adapting, so.
Yeah.
Very thankful to have him in that position during these times.
So it's the same round.
Appreciate that.
He's a haircut, but that'll.
Yeah.
It's the longest it's ever been.
I'm starting to second that. My neighbors just went old school and just chopped all the kids' hair off the other day. I saw them riding bikes. I was like, gone. Yeah, I was like,
Somebody's got to do something about Glenn back there.
Excellent. All right.
I bring out the best in people.
That's right.
So, I'm here today to formalize the request to offer to our revolving loan fund clients the ability to defer the principal on their payments. We'll waive the service charges, I think it's $5 a month, and then charge interest only for a period of up to 90 days. Originally it was going to be May, but because it took a while to get this together, now it'll be June through August. And we have roughly 18 accounts out there now. I can tell you they're all current. We have had several requests, but I've asked them to sit tight until we got in front of the board. So, I feel good that it's all current at this point.
So everybody's,
Paid off.
paid off, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would say that. So, okay, so it'll be interest only.
Yeah, an average month is about 5,000 in interest, and principal is roughly around 22 or 23,000.
Okay.
So we're not forgiving that principal.
No,
Again, we're
they're just
heading it
pushing it,
on
yeah.
to the end of the individual loans.
So how will you deal with that back end? So there would not be,
Yeah, we amended the loan.
Okay.
And added to the
Okay,
package of
okay.
the loan.
okay.
In the letter.
We'll send
this
a
is
letter
passed,
out
a letter-
today.
Send a letter out to all 18.
Making it available to them.
Yeah. I know I have gotten a couple, I'm sure the other commissioners have too, letters from, different businesses through the county looking for some type of assistance on this,
Yeah.
And I think this is fair in light of everything that's going on right now. This is not something of their choosing or their doing. Still anyone that's in good standing and good faith with us still, I'm definitely
Right.
willing to work with them on that.
Yeah,
you know,
and I
so-
think we're getting it in time, so
Yeah.
when they do get affected by this,
Yeah.
they'll be able to ask. for it.
Absolutely, yeah. I know we've talked about, Dave, some other ideas, maybe potentially, and I know there's been some discussion, different, what things could we do to help assist certain businesses or different businesses, and it's hard to, pick and choose who would get that. We have very little resources to even provide that out there, but remember, we've talked about this, and, is there any opportunity to put that revolving loan fund money out there as some type of assistance, not free, but at least to bridge the gap?
We could do sort of a phased loan program. The state has loosened the guidelines on that. So we would be able to offer, say, microloans, $5,000 and less.
Right.
But, have a certain category of requirements. They have to be based in the county, obviously. Certain number of employees or less. They have to have a business plan that would show us how they plan to recover and how they will use this money. So the money would be used for payroll, rent, utilities, that sort of thing, and continuing medical coverage for their employees and that sort of thing. And then we'd also want to see, I think you mentioned this when we talked before, you want to see them applying for the loans that are available from the federal government at the same time.
Sure, well, I mean, that would help.
If they get approved, that would help us
Yeah.
improve.
Yeah,
Especially the ones that maybe that loan from the government, they didn't
Yeah,
apply
there's
for,
a,
they fell
there's
through
an
the cracks.
idle loan,
you know.
right, emergency assistance, right, it's a disaster loan, and then there's also, the Paycheck Protection Program.
yeah.
So you get one or the other, you can't get both,
Right. And this would help a lot of the mom and pop places or
yes.
even
So we'd,
restaurant or diner.
we'd have a committee that would review the applications, and, we'd have to make that quick, that's one thing, we gotta move it, if we do it, we gotta move it through quickly.
Yeah, and the only concern I have, and I've already said it out loud, is trying to figure out who, because if you do it for one, you gotta do it for all, right? And so we're gonna have
And
to
we're limited.
a fair criteria to figure out how to do it, and we're very limited in resource, so we'll have to figure that out. I think some of the hardest hit are obvious, the ones that are still being, there's not even a mention of them from our governor as far as any time that they're going to be open soon.
Yeah.
We all know what those businesses are that have been completely
Exactly.
wiped off and I'm very much gonna say this, and stressing this week is critical. And I hope to see some movement from the governor on opening these things up over this next week. If not, we're gonna have to reevaluate our approach here, I think, in Jogga County as far as what we're gonna, try and look at what options we have here locally to help assist that.
And I'll get something from Jerry so he can share it with the board, we can work from there.
Okay,
Figure
okay.
out, what will work, what can't work.
Very good, very good. No, the quicker we can get together on that, Jerry, why don't you, talk to Dave and we'll circle back with you, Dave, and
Yeah.
see what we can do.
And just one other thing I want to make you aware, on a regular basis, we have calls, conference calls with the other nonprofits around the county, the Chambers, Middlefield, Burton, Chardon, Jogga Grove. We're working with everybody to collaborate, to bring information in, to get actual experiences from the businesses on what they're dealing with, to help us better help them recover.
Sure.
So we'll build that into the program.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of contact, or people calling in looking for assistance, or asking questions? Or?
I wouldn't say a lot, Tim.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 6 to 8 phone calls.
Okay.
But again, some of these other nonprofits are talking to
Oh, yeah,
individual
absolutely.
businesses, and they're getting that request too.
Because it's very confusing. I still am trying to, look at different avenues to see if I can apply. I've tried to apply for a few things, and
Yeah.
I've been rejected time and time
I
again.
talked to our friend John Solich here, the VP at Middlefield Bank. He's a friend of the county with CNC, and to help get his input on, a loan program and how to get it approved and the
Right.
application, and what the parameters should be and so forth. And he said they got totally slammed by the federal government with these idle loan applications. He said there was no direction.
No.
There were
Was there no way to even implement it?
They just dumped it onto the
Right,
banks,
right.
and the banks, he was working 20 hours a day literally to try to get applications through to help people. So,
Okay.
well intended, but
Yeah. Yeah.
poorly administered.
Yeah. No, that's been the theme for sure. Well, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments for Dave on this?
I think it's really helpful for all our businesses in Jogga County. I'll make that motion.
Great.
Second?
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, Dave, let's follow up.
Yeah, will do.
Okay. Maintenance.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Beautiful. This is, I talked about last session, I was bringing another roofing in to do some roof repair on some of our county buildings, down here at the Annex, JFS, and some other buildings. This is just roofing repairs.
Okay, so what changed from last time? Is this the same, this is a different?
This is a different company. We have different materials and different buildings,
Mhm.
so this is just another company that works on different materials.
So I guess my question, why are we talking about this one? And remember the last one we put on hold, didn't we table it?
No, we did not.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
No, because we have active leaks that
Right.
need to be repaired. That's why we,
Okay.
Right.
this isn't, yeah,
We
this
did the
isn't a-
glass
maybe if we
window.
need it, this is active leaks. that
Oh, this is
we're working
like,
on. Yeah.
we got some
Correct.
issues here?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like maintenance right now.
Correct.
okay. Where is it, I'm sorry, where is this again, at the annex?
We have some at Annex, we have some at, down here, 47, JFS.
Oh,
building.
okay, so this is gonna be,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's multiple. buildings.
gotcha. Yeah. This is the type of money, when they say good money and bad money, this is bad money. This is money you never get back, it's gone. This is, like, I get it, it's not your fault, it's not anybody's fault, this is why, from the beginning, we've been talking about these, getting into something different, right? But this is like drip, 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 doesn't sound like a lot of money in the big picture, but I guarantee if we go back in history and add this money up, it's tons, This is the kind of stuff that frustrates us, and I know, like going, like with the elevator, I know we go on and on about this, but like, this is such a bad investment, this type of stuff, I mean, I get that there's general maintenance, but I'm sorry, I'm ranting a little bit here today, but, we'll make a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Here's the last one.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. Mike, doing good?
He is doing pretty good.
Excellent, excellent.
I don't know, working in the garden the other day.
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Well, he needs exercise, so
Yeah,
it's
good.
you can do outside without anybody around, and we're up and moving, so that's a good thing.
That's
All
good.
all in all, it's a good thing.
So how, like, when he's out and about, is he able to, like, get walks and stuff like that? I mean, decent amount of distance yet, or is still
He
building up
can
to
do
that?
walks, he went for a walk the other day, he did about half mile, 3/4 of a mile, which
Wow,
I know it's not a lot, but it's a lot for
Sure,
him,
sure.
so. But it's good days and bad days, so some days, like, that's okay, and other days, 1/4 mile, so I was like, okay, I'm done today. So like,
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
worked in the garden the next day,
Hmm.
we didn't make it very far at all, because he was worn out. But,
Sure,
you
sure.
know, the good days, we push a little farther, the bad days, we just go a little less, and,
no, that's neat,
yeah, so all in all, he's good, but he's good.
excellent.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Great. So what do you got here this morning?
This is a transit reserve fund. ODOT does not allow you to make any money, and we all know that, but they've come up with this fund to allow us to take, in essence, to me, it's not lose money. Because every month, we have to put in our local match. I have to put in everything I get, so all my contract revenue that I get, if I only need 10,000 this month, but I actually get 11,000, I have to put all 11,000 in, so that's 1,000 less I get back, I don't get that refunded. Where now, if I only need 10,000, I put 10,000 in and take the 1,000 and put it in the transit reserve fund and either use it for a local match on a month that I don't get very many contracts, or keep it, and then when I go to buy buses, I always have to pay my 100% out of our local funding. So the ODOT is now allowing us, since we can't make money, put this aside for future use. We still have to use it, we can't really make any
Is
money.
there a limit on that, or no? No?
Well, it was 10% of your budget per year,
Okay.
but with all of this going on, they upped it to like 40% if you get
If
into
you can
contracts.
do
But
that.
but I don't know that anybody's
Who's
getting
gonna do it?
40% of any revenue right now in
Right.
contracts.
I see.
So because of the CARES Act, they've actually upped it for just this year.
Okay.
But it's something they're going to be going forward, so that I don't lose that money on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, depending which way they're doing it, that I can actually put it aside, use it later if I need it, or, so I can use it later for local, or I can use it for capital, whichever I need.
It sounds like you have some leeway here too, as far as what you want to use that money for.
Correct, it has to be capital or it has to be local cash, so anytime I need
Okay.
the local money and any of the quarterly things, I can go ahead and use it, or at the end, I can use it for buses or any capital improvement in the building.
Okay.
I mean, they have to approve it all, get to go through ODOT and they approve it, that's what the stipulations are, I'm going to use it for.
And we don't have anything like that currently already in place?
No.
No? Okay.
No, there was no such thing, you couldn't save money, but they changed it so that you can't save, but you put it aside for a future investment.
Very good. Okay. Great. Any questions or comments, Jerry? You've
Joanne and I have
talked about this a lot? Yeah.
About the last month and a half when we first started.
Yeah, they put this out there and I jumped on it because any money that I can put aside,
I think that's
it's
a
great.
good-
Because all I was doing at this quarter, they allowed us to put it aside before I got you guys' approval, and if not, I have to give it to them. But it's actually $15,000 that I put aside, because I had $15,000 extra in contract revenue this quarter.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean next quarter I have the money. So all you're doing is just putting it aside, you can use it later, because otherwise it would have been $15,000 I would have got back out of my grants.
Sure.
So instead of giving the money back to them, I'm just keeping it local and can use it again.
Great. So quick update, how are things going in the transit right now as far as all the changes here?
Well, ODOT through all of this has also said we can, they did the CARES Act, we've got a CARES Act grant
Mhm.
that I'm working on, as soon as it comes through, you guys will be seeing it, it's not there yet. It's going through Laura, and then you guys will get it, instead of the regular 5311 or 5339 funding that we have, when we have 80/20 and 50/50 is what we have to get there on local shares, up to 1.2 million, I'm gonna get 100% back on operating or capital. I can't do any capital improvement, well, I can't, but it'll all be the 50/50, I'll have to still pay on it. But any of my operating and capital maintenance expenses, I'm gonna get reimbursed at 100%. So, and they're also doing the bus, we didn't have a bus in our actual budget for this year, but they're allowing me to do 2 buses through this CARES Act. so that I can get 2 buses this year at 100%. So it won't cost per se us anything. I have 6 buses that are all between 180 and 200,000
They're
miles
getting up there.
that all need replaced. What happened was 6, 7 years ago, something, in 13 and 14, the 13 buses came in wrong, so they sent them back. We didn't get them until 14. So 13 and 14, all buses all came in the end of 14. So we got 6 buses at once, so now all 6 buses need replaced instead of the 2 or 3 a year that we get to try to keep them moving. We're now behind the game because all 6 of them are up. So them adding 2 buses in there will be great. So on that end, we're good. Our ridership was down. Since we've done the free, the ridership is going up, which is good because now I can keep the drivers off the road, keep them busy. I have 8 of my buses outfitted right now, more coming because I'm waiting on more supplies. We actually put a divider, it's a shower curtain, but it's a vinyl shower curtain. We can flip and close in the middle so that we have anybody on the bus, the drivers can actually block off the front from the back. Since we're not taking any fares, the driver doesn't have to touch any cash. I don't have to touch any cash when it comes, so we don't have to do it. So the ridership, we were down to a quarter of our ridership. We probably gone back up to 30–40%, which is not a lot, but going in the right direction, which will put the drivers back out on the road. The drivers are all comfortable with it. We've had a couple active COVID patients on board that the hospital's told us, and we bring them in through the back and we make sure we close it. And they do full PPE. I talked to the health department. If they have the goggles, the mask, the gown, and the gloves on, they're not considered exposed and they don't have to be in quarantine because they're in full PPE when we transport them. So when we have a full,
So the driver is?
The driver is, and then the client is on the back, and the curtain is completely closed, so they're not completely blocked off, but according to the health department, they're not considered exposed at this point because there's that barrier and they have the PPE on them. So when we have those, obviously we take that person, we take them home, the bus comes in, and we sanitize it right there. At this point, we have hand sprays that they're sanitizing between people, and then we deep sanitize every night, but if we have someone with an active COVID patient, it then comes in and we pull it and deep sanitize it there and send them out with a different bus if they have if they need to continue on.
Do you have the thermometer at your office for your employees and such, that's, test that if they're coming off of transport like that, or, I mean, I guess it would be later on, but do you have the?
We have a thermometer right now that I finally got in, that
Okay.
as everybody enters the building, they have to take the temperature and
Okay.
record it. I have another one supposedly coming sometime soon as my backup, because it's
Right.
kind of hard to get them in.
Yeah.
Sanitizers have been interesting. I have gone everywhere and anywhere. Glenn has gotten some, my daughter's gotten some, I've bought tons. Anywhere I can find any of it, but right now we're pretty good at different hand sanitizers and alcohol and a
Masks.
disinfectant. I just got in a case of 2,000 of the blue masks. I've ordered cloth masks for all the drivers. They should be getting another week or so for transit once, so that they'll have one that they can, a couple so we can wash them in the environment instead of keep buying them and throwing them away, because that's all we're doing. It'll be a little more effective when we're doing that. They're not in yet, I'm still waiting on them, so in the meantime, we're using the blue disposable.
But you'd say utilization's up with it now, again, it's back and active?
It is starting to improve.
Yeah. Do you have to limit how many people are on the bus?
What we're doing is 3 unless they're from a household. Like I had 4 or 5 people that would want to go to another household from a household, so I put all of them on it because they're all in the same family.
I see, yeah.
Then we just close the curtain and drop them off and then spray it all down. But if they're not from the same household, go to the same household. We limit 3 because then I can stagger. I mean, it's about 6 feet apart would be the 1, 2, 3, so the driver and them are still far enough apart. I'm not sure it's exactly 6 feet, but it's as far as I can go. So typically 2 3 is all we try to put on at a time unless it's family. Then I let them go on because it's the same. I pick up just the husband there, the husband and wife, it's not gonna
Sure.
matter if I'm picking up one person in a household.
I see.
So yeah, we are limiting what we're doing.
So Tom, have you been over there at all to check that operation out?
I personally haven't, but I know that
But you're-
we get hundreds of calls every day from different entities that are asking questions, and so our staff are pretty well versed in being able to talk folks through. In general, folks, have the basics.
Yeah.
It's can you get the public to follow the rules that you've set up?
I
Is
see.
always the question. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you've got a really good setup there.
I mean, we're trying, I just got the masks in. We're gonna start offering if the client's getting on one mask, they can have one. I'm not mandating it, because I'm gonna have to have a whole other policy in the health, and what if they're sick and but, we are gonna start having, like I said, I just had them yesterday, in the case of 2000, we're gonna start having them on the bus before they get on their bike, we're gonna offer them, if they say no, we're not gonna force them to wear it, but if they would, we're gonna go ahead and give them.
I see.
Yeah, thanks for staying on top of this like you do.
Trying,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
changes on a daily basis, but I'm trying to
No.
keep everybody as safe as we can and keep us going.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
think every week we're gonna have a new normal. Every
Right.
week. It's just
Oh,
gonna be constant.
every day is like our earlier in the day, and the staff is very good. The drivers and the dispatchers that I have are very good at trying to make sure we're all communicating and know what's going on. If there's issues with any clients or anything, we're trying to make sure we're all on the same page.
So does your employees take their temperature before they walk in the door?
It's in the little lobby when you walk in, and there's a little sign-in sheet, they have to sign in, and if they have a fever, if they have a cough, headache, any symptoms, they have to leave and then call me. And then I would decide how I'm covering whoever it is, or, you know, the dispatcher, or if it's the driver, or what I have to do. But no, there's a sign-in when they walk in that they have to sign off on.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, thank you so
I
much.
appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
do. Yeah.
All right,
Of all the things, you know, you forget about some of these things, you know, you know, I know you're.
Yeah, because we've been running the entire time, so
Yeah,
it's
I
just
didn't even, like, think of that.
ever changing.
Yeah.
And getting the supplies, I mean, like, getting the masks were not easy.
No.
You're waiting, it's like, well, I can't do anything if I don't have them.
Yeah.
It seems like, Tom, I think we've caught up on that, right, as far as supplies?
I'm getting fewer and fewer requests.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I get some requests from private entities that say, where can I get masks? And
Yeah, I don't see Roger here, but I think he's done a pretty good
He's
job.
done an amazing
He's the one that helped
Yeah.
me get.
Yeah.
we ordered 4,000, I think, and got them within 5 days.
Okay.
It took, it took me about a week to get them from, Roger helped me get them, and it took about a week, but that was still.
And Glenn too, you guys have been
Oh,
doing
yeah,
a
like I
great
said,
job
Glenn's giving me
stockpiling.
stuff.
Yeah.
I picked up 150 masks yesterday, cloth ones that were donated.
And also, you know, you've been out with the different other elected officials' offices, you know, where the public's interacting, putting up the barriers, right? Are those all up now, pretty
Yes.
much?
We gotta justify a couple of them a little bit better,
Uh-huh.
so, go from there.
But as far as the counters and stuff, we're,
That we all have paintings,
clerks, they're all set.
painting ones. I think, I wanna say today, we get in the health department, some of the cubicles, because of the space is so close, we put plexiglass up,
Okay.
we've got that.
I heard plexiglass is getting hard to get now.
Oh, it's like the thermometers.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more thermometers. Last Friday, I stopped at Seven Brothers Distillery in Leroy. I got 20 gallons.
For yourself?
What about the sanitizer?
So I got some of the gallons of hand sanitizer there. So,
Glenn, if you needed, I have a source for some masks, if you need somebody to, you know, the thousands of them in stock, so if you needed something that somebody calls for you, I can get you their information also.
okay.
They have both the KN95, which is not the M95, but I'm not really sure what the difference is, and then also just the standard ones too, so.
Okay.
um,
And I'm in constant talking once a day, if not twice a day with Roger of, you know, what
Yeah,
entities need stuff.
it's like you can reach out to him too, maybe if it's something, but it's available to ship right now, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
So I know this last week, we're looking at hand sanitizer pumps. I've started putting those in the lobby.
Okay,
I'm getting some quotes. I'm looking at more of, I don't want the hand where you take your hand and you pump it.
yeah, yeah,
I'm looking at what the hospital has, you put your hand underneath and it automatically squirts into it, so you're not touching it.
If you can get me those quotes, because I'm looking for some quotes too, because I'm thinking of putting them on the bus when the clients get on,
Correct.
because I have hand pumps on there, but I was trying to find,
So,
No, we actually
I mean, it's gonna be, you know, all the lobbies, it's gonna be a major thing that would, you know, who's gonna refill these, so we're looking at the janitors in house of refilling them. Some of the areas I don't control, so we're looking at all of that.
Okay. Good idea. All you very much, everybody. Okay, if we could get a motion on number 15, please.
So move.
Or 13, I'm sorry.
13.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. How could we forget?
Hey, hey.
Don't look so happy.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
Steve.
Keep this distance.
So we're requesting, Water Resource requesting the board approve and execute a service contract that we want with Perfection Landscapes to perform lawn maintenance for our multiple sites, not to exceed $17,100 for the rest of the year.
Very good. Okay, motion, please.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Blair?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
No one wants to talk to me?
We just know you're doing a great job.
How about getting me a thermometer there?
Yeah. Okay, so Jerry, we've been talking about new policies moving forward. I know this is something that keeps, goalposts keep changing here.
Yeah, every time the rules change for us, we have to change our policies, so this is just an adjustment of the policy based off of the, return to work.
Yep.
So we're eliminating, the basics of it is, we're effective tomorrow eliminating the paid administrative leaves. Anybody who's off on paid administrative leave needs to come back.
Yep.
Proposing to leave those who are working from home, who are able to work from home and have proven that they can work from home, to be allowed to remain working from home until June 30th, just to allow for the departments to slowly bring people back rather than trying to bring everybody back all at once.
Let me ask you though, like how is that just gonna be on a case-by-case basis? I mean, how do you decide who,
It would have to be determined by the department heads and supervisors, as they should, anybody who's been working from home, they should have a good idea whether, how well they were working from home over the
Okay.
last, month or two, and whether they're getting their job done and getting the work done that needs to be done. If they're not, they need to come back. If they're still working from home, they have a job that can work from home, then allow them to continue to work from home, maybe coming back once or twice a week or whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
We just didn't want, I didn't want to necessarily have everybody coming back all at once and filling the offices back up
No, that's probably a smart idea.
immediately, so.
I see you got through June 30th, and I guess that's okay. I don't have a huge problem with it, but, I think, we want to try and, I get the strategy of doing this, maybe, but,
As long as every week, people keep
Yeah,
coming back in.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily meaning that you're gonna wait and then on June 30th, bring everybody back who's working from home.
No.
It's kind of just to allow them to slowly bring them back.
I don't know if we're gonna run into some issues where, saying, well, how can, I can work from home, how can, she gets to go home and I don't, and I don't know, it just,
It's gonna have to,
yeah.
unfortunately, you can't cover every possibility in a policy, so that's gonna have to really be like you said, a case-by-case basis for department
Yeah.
directors.
That's my only real issue with this is that I think, it's time to, the administrative leave is over and it's time to start getting back into the office. Yeah, and try and, do the best we can as far as, that's what I think the goal is, to try and get everyone back here and get rolling,
Because it's, working from home, I think it's a unique skill.
Mhm.
And I know, I've been in the office most of the days because I know I could never work from home. I'd be too distracted by other
Right.
stuff. But that's me personally knowing that, so, and even supervising somebody who's working from home is
Okay.
kind of a unique skill.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
I look at it as, that type of supervising is kind of like me supervising the directors, is I have to know that they're doing what they're doing without actually being able to see it every day.
Fair, yeah.
So it's,
Yep, there's a level
so
of.
it's more of a, here's your goals to get done, and then here's the timeline to get those goals done, and that's how I know whether you're doing your work or not. as opposed to being able to see that you're doing stuff every day.
Okay.
So, and then the other thing is to follow the new orders, the masks, requiring masks in the public areas of the offices. You know, if you're sitting in your own office and nobody's there, you're not gonna be required to have a mask. But if you're gonna be out meeting with the public directly, or, you know, meeting with other people in the office, you should be wearing a mask. This is the way this is written right now is a little different than what I sent you yesterday, because Laura looked at it. I had everything in it. She just wanted it to look more like the way the order was written.
I see.
So the same language is in there. It's just it's different, different format.
Is it still in order? I mean, is it?
The employees portion is, the customers or clients, citizens, it's not.
Okay, because I thought I heard something backed off of it as an order, and it's more of a, you know, didn't Dwayne
Well-
back down on that? Or?
Well, he changed his mind about
The-
15 times.
Yeah, the challenge is, what he really backed down on was the idea of whether the customers had to wear or not wear. The order, everything that's in there is part of the order, right? And so the issue with regard, and what we're charged with enforcing for the private sector, which it's up to you all if you want to have the same standard as we're applying to the private sector. If we were to go and inspect any place of employment and the employees were not separated by their barrier but the mask and 6 foot, they would be found non-compliant with the order.
Okay.
So how you all want to do that, I mean, I'm not going to run down the hall and get my badge and come back. It's
Right.
here, but
Right.
but it's you know, decide how consistent you want to be with that.
I see. Okay.
So even in a conference room like this with 6-foot barrier, we should still all be a mask?
Yeah. I had my staff meeting in here this morning and everybody's in masks. I told them last Friday, so they come in Monday. This is already normal. Because the issue is not, the mask, the protection comes from the mask and the distance. The mask is what stops the projectiles from getting 6 feet out. That's why you have the mask and the distance. The mask by itself is not going to protect me if I'm up in your face. The distance itself isn't going to be as protective as if we have the mask on. So that's why it's really both of those things. The room is set up at this point for the distancing and the masks. If we had more plexiglass in between each thing, we wouldn't have to. That's why we wear masks.
That's why the policy's kind of written is when you're in your own area, you know,
Yeah.
take a mask on. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna be right there with public, you know, requiring, saying you should have a mask on, if you're gonna be sitting 2 feet away from somebody.
Yeah. We have, I have a sign outside my door. I don't wear a mask in my office, but there's a sign that says not, put on your mask, I'll put on mine. So because you're gonna share my office space with me, you're gonna be masked. If you're in your own office, you don't need to be masked.
Okay. Jerry, you want to move on to, is there anything else on that?
Yeah, I mean, the other stuff's just the general, what we've kind of all been doing already, and then just, you know, for people to check, make sure you're checking. You know, if you're sick, don't be coming in, it's not, you know.
Sure.
And then,
All the same
the
things.
last part is just the federal guidelines that have been approved, just to put them into the policy.
Okay.
In regards to-
Very good. Do you need a motion to approve this policy, or do you want to, yes? Okay.
So moved.
Yep. Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Jerry, for that. And then also, the future meetings for the month of May and move into June. I wanted to talk to you guys, what, do you want to continue business as usual every couple of weeks, or do you want to do back to normal schedule, or what do you guys want to do? I guess maybe asking Jerry, what do you think, and Christie, are we putting too much work on over a 2-week period, or is it okay?
No, it's been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point.
What about the planning? Are
Okay
they-
to keep doing every other week if that's what you want to do.
The planning, are we gonna have a meeting next week, or, because we didn't meet?
For the planning commission?
Yeah.
I think we're
I
supposed to.
thought maybe,
Aren't we?
that's a suggestion, if we meet
Yeah, please, so next week.
with
Planning
them,
commission is here next Tuesday from 7:30 to 9.
and then after that,
Yeah.
go every other week.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to get it, planning,
Okay. So that's next week.
yeah.
Planning's next
So you're saying, Jim, what are you saying? So have
Well,
a commissioners
if
meeting?
the
after?
planning is here at 7:30,
We'll be here anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, probably need some time in between
Okay.
to wipe down things and then start our meeting.
So that's a 7:30,
I
8:30,
made,
9:30, so
make
10
the
o'clock.
suggestion of moving it to at least 10:30, that way if planning commission does go over, you have time for your room to clear out, be sanitized, and then start your meeting,
Oh, okay.
just to give it a little bit of time. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
So,
How about 10 and
10.
we'll give them an hour. We'll cut, I don't think there's a ton of
7:30,
stuff.
8:30, 9:30.
she has the room until 9:30, so that would give a half an hour of changeover. So we would have to.
We shouldn't have a 2-hour planning commission now.
I don't see it.
I don't think there's that much on the agenda.
There's not.
Okay.
Let's go for 10.
Let's go for 10.
Yeah.
So then I would need a motion to move the May 12th meeting to 10 o'clock.
So move.
I'll second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
and then, so if you're looking at doing an every other, you would have session then on the 12th, skip the 19th, and then your next meeting following that would be the 28th, which is Thursday, due to Memorial Day.
When is Memorial Day?
The 25th.
Okay.
And we have the resolution in place to do meetings through the end of May in Building 8. And then if you're looking at continuing that into June on an every other week basis, you would then skip the 2nd, do the 9th, which is also planning commission. And then we would have to adjust that meeting time to 10 o'clock again, and then.
Why don't we just schedule for the month?
Let's go through the end of May and
Yeah.
see where we are.
Yeah,
Okay.
because then, hopefully get back to normal here a little bit.
Okay, so then we would cancel May 19th and then hold session on the 28th.
Okay.
And then go from there.
And then go from there. On the 28th, we can reevaluate June, and then depending on what you want to do, if you want to continue to be in June, we'll look at the schedule and then redo the resolution to continue in Building 8 if necessary.
Okay.
So do I have a
Sounds good.
motion then to cancel session on May 19th?
So move.
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox?
Yes. Great.
Okay, 10. I know planning commission is set up for June and July to be in Building 8. So your 2 meetings in June and July will also be in here. So we'll adjust accordingly.
So NOACA, this is Friday, we're doing a Zoom meeting. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if I'm supposed to chair that thing on Zoom. I don't even know how that.
Well, and Amy had sent, requested to know whether you plan to actually go to NOACA or if you're
Well, I
just.
think they're
going
doing
to
it Zoom.
Yes, they are doing both. You have the
Oh.
ability to be in Cleveland in the office, or you can do it via Zoom.
Okay. Okay. Okay, and then next week, there's a special meeting, ADP. It's Tuesday at 2 p.m. via WebEx. Order revision will be also WebEx, which should be interesting.
And you just cancel the 19th, and then.
Cancel the 19th. Okay, very good. Okay.
And then the only other thing was planning, or solid waste, I was gonna try to call to get a meeting set up for them. But what would work for you guys? Do you want me to find out if next Tuesday would work? We could just knock everything out all in one day?
Do you want to have a face-to-face meeting with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that, because I want to try to see what we could do to maybe look at this building thing again and
Yeah.
just see where
See
we're at.
Yeah.
Jen did send you guys an email yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I saw
There was
that.
an
Did you see
updated
that?
email.
I read it, very, very thorough.
Yeah. She made some changes there. Yeah, but it was kind of left in limbo, that whole
Right.
thing. We were like in the middle of it and then boom. Yeah, so.
maybe finalize some stuff, you know, with that, and,
Yeah, do you want to set it up?
it's
Chris?
Tuesday, like, say we do Tuesday at 1:30,
Next Tuesday?
so we'd have a meeting here at 10,
That gives you plenty of time to
plenty
get
of
down.
time to be able to get down there by 1:30 or 1 o'clock, whatever you guys want to do.
Only 1:30.
1:30?
Okay. And I could
Is
have,
that fine? Or 1, you want to do 1?
if you guys do 1, I could have them bring us some lunch there.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, I
Sound
will
good for
call
you?
Jen.
Yeah. I'm available.
I'll call Jen when I get back to the office and see
Okay.
if she
Yep,
can do
then
that,
just
because it'll be a
buzz me,
matter
just me.
of Trumbull County, I don't know when
Because
they're.
I talked to Dan yesterday, and I told him I'd like to try to get something locked down and finished up with this.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Then the only other thing was, is that, you know, the health commissioner here, just getting a lot of complaints with the septic. Where do we stand with that to be able to do that? I know, Jim, you've gotten a lot of calls.
Yeah. Since I'm a realtor, they call me first.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, and then we get the call from the realtor and from the owner and the little buyer. So as folks know, with the case contact tracing that's been going on, every case generates dozens of contacts. We call them every day. So the reason that we postponed virtually every other program we run is to have those sanitarians come in and do that. We're in the process through this month of contracting with folks to do contact tracing. The governor's talked about the 100,000 plus whatever. We're not seeing any of them. I don't know what they're doing.
so
out
like,
there.
what do you mean the contact tracing?
Contact tracing, so we get a report of the case.
Okay.
One of my folks will open that case. They'll call that case, they'll go through an interview with them about when their symptoms started, where they've been, who they came in contact with.
Okay.
And then for each of those, identify how close that contact was, whatever. Then we identify that whole list of people. Sometimes it's virtually nobody. If they're in a long-term care facility, very
Short
short
list.
contact list, right? If they just attended an Amish wedding, different contact list, and very challenging to try to get hold of those folks every day. So the person who opens that case then generates that whole long list of so-and-so, here's their phone number or address. Somebody else takes that and works through every day and calls all of those folks. Those are the folks that we need to bring in to do those
Okay.
follow-up phone calls. Up to this point, we've had our sanitarians do it, our health educators do it.
So all your manpower is on that.
Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
So at this point right now, we have been collecting the incoming calls about septic, about food inspections, about, everything that we always do. We get those calls, we log them. And so this month, what we're doing, as we're hiring folks to do the contact tracing, my sanitarians are going through that backlog of stuff that's already scheduled. They're going out and doing those. We're not making a big public splash because then it looks like the health department's back up and ready to do business. We're not yet. But we can get those folks that are already on the books.
Okay.
As we start to build capacity in case contacts, or if the cases go down and we don't have as many, those sanitarians will also start to be doing the routine things. They'll start to reach out. There aren't that many folks that are doing the inspections, so.
So just to be clear, it's not really holding up if it's appeals, is it?
And yeah, thank you very much for asking that
Yeah.
question. Because the issue that holds it up, and it's the bank,
Yeah.
right? The bank has a policy, we're not gonna lend you the money unless you have an inspection done. Or you have to put
One
that
and a
money
half
into
times.
escrow, right?
1.5 times what the septic tank
Right.
cost in escrow.
Right, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 in escrow. That's a bank's policy. We don't, that's not us, right? What's holding up the issue, and it's a reasonable policy, I'm not saying it's not reasonable, but the reality is, it's that policy that holds it up. We've been telling folks, if you want to have a private inspector come out and inspect that septic system, if that would satisfy the bank, you're golden. We still have the program, we still have to go out, because I can't certify that some private person went out.
Sure. To verify it.
Here's your 50, it's
Yeah.
positive.
But it's not like the transaction sitting there waiting for that inspection to be done. Sometimes
It
you guys
doesn't-
don't get to the inspection till way late.
And we have, and prior to my getting here, there was a waiting list of, I think about 18 months where none of them happened, a year and a half. So, yeah, it's not people are still buying houses. The issue is the escrow and then the bank's requirement.
I see, yeah.
But to the point of when are we gonna start doing it, we're starting slowly back
Get
in.
out there.
Our plan at this point is to be able to offer a full array of services by June 1. Ideally, our plan is, and I would suggest this to anybody, the more and more that you can do that by mail, by phone, by internet, the better. When we can have folks working remotely, I mean, we're sort of doing things in reverse order because the rest of the world has been working remotely or not at all. We've been, I mean,
No.
60, 70-hour weeks for 2 months now. But as we start to get everything up and running and have the technology in place, we're actually going to be encouraging some of our staff to work from home. And to Jerry's comment about managing that, things like septic inspections. The expectation is you do, 8, 10, 12, whatever, septic inspections that week. You come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you pick up the forms, the files, so forth. You go home, you're working remotely, you're making those calls, scheduling those appointments, going out and doing the inspection. At the end of the week, you need to have those 8, 10, 12 inspections done. But then we have less bodies in the building.
I see. Okay.
We're
Usually with the point of sale inspection for septic systems, very difficult to inspect during the winter months. And if you have a wet spring, I mean.
Yeah. There is that. You can't, it's very difficult to inspect the snow on the ground anyway, depending on some of the systems you can't. When it's wet, I mean, for anybody who wants to have their septic system inspected and fail, schedule it in the spring. It's wet, it's gonna probably fail. The other challenge with the point of sale is folks let us know like 24 hours in advance that they want to have this thing done. It's like, it doesn't work that way. I mean, most of these things are scheduled 2 weeks in advance anyway, these guys' calendars are.
So when people call in, are they put on a waiting list then?
At this point, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, if somebody calls in, we're not going out and saying call in, but if they call in, they're getting put on a waiting list. We're hitting that waiting list this month. When we clear that, we may start to say, okay, start calling in.
Approximately how many people you have on the waiting list?
I don't know the answer. Okay. From what the conversation I've had, it's manageable. It's not like it's a waiting list that's gonna take them through, through the month or anything. So, I mean, once folks got the word.
But if anybody's having any difficulty, have you heard from people having difficulty
Yeah,
or
the
something?
one guy, that Fincham, I believe,
Okay.
he's a contractor, called, reached out yesterday to me, and, he's just, just waiting on inspections for jobs, and then, the other thing.
Send them to me, because
Oh, for the
first 5
installer, like he's doing it,
Yeah.
installing it,
Yeah, and so the thing is with the building, the folks that are installing the new buildings, those are, and I get how important it is, but in terms of the public health risk, the building's not built yet, it's not a septic system that's failing yet, right? So we're hitting the ones that are actually risking health as soon as we can. We obviously want to get them all in. That's revenue for us too.
Hopefully,
So,
hopefully, I'd say within the next week or so, we should be able to get, because that's important, if that's very important. I was thinking more of the real estate side of things, the transactions, but, as far as projects moving along.
So all right, so you have several categories. The largest number, right, are the folks who their own system isn't working, they've got to replace it, right? Because that's generating that's why we do it. It's generating that public health risk, right? The waste. You got the folks that are doing the transaction, they need to have it for that process. You have the folks that are building new dwellings that don't have anybody producing waste going into the system. And it's super important, but in terms of the risk to public health, it's that.
Well, I think, the importance though too is, I think all these things are important equally. And I get it, manpower is limited, but.
To be cute, we're not saying you go to the end of the list.
No.
We're just saying that you're in that queue.
But if we can help in any way with, I know, like resources as far as manpower, I don't know if you're gonna need to start hiring more people or not, or if this thing start to equalize as far as that goes.
So the other thing that's coming up, right, is, and we don't know when yet, because we don't get any cue from the governor or the health director. I mean, honestly, he's making the decisions. She's getting the beat up because she's got the authority to sign it. She's following his guidance on timing. When the restaurants open, this has not been,
Right.
sort of queued out, but it's our understanding that before they can open, there's gonna be a requirement that every single one of them has somebody from the health department come and review their entire layout, measure distances between tables, blah, 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 blah. We do an inspection a year on a regular basis. When the date comes that the restaurants are allowed to open, we're gonna have every single restaurant in Geauga County is gonna want that inspection done that day.
Yeah.
That's the same folks that are doing the septic systems, the same
Yeah.
folks that are doing when we get calls about an Amish wedding, or we get, it's the same 6 people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're moving hard. I don't know when that's gonna be. I would imagine it's gonna probably be within the next 3 or 4 weeks that the restaurant's open.
I mean, that's just too long. That's too long.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm not making those rules.
Right,
but,
no, I know,
But I suspect it'll probably be,
Yeah.
because the issue is, when they make the moves, there's really at least 2 to 4 weeks before we know what the impact of
Right,
it is.
right.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
either do it all at
Yeah.
once and hold your breath and hope you got it.
Right.
Or you take one, you wait
Yeah.
for 3 or
There's
4
not gonna be
weeks, see what
anything to open
happens.
back up in 3, 4
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
You might as well just forget it, yeah, because that's just too long, you know. I don't know, that's frustrating. I was hoping, to start hearing some more, things of this week as far as start rolling this stuff open.
As far as I can tell, the next thing that's gonna change is May 12th, and the retail will open as
Yeah.
opposed, I mean, it's opened up a bit now,
Yeah.
I mean, you can take appointments to have somebody come in to do transaction, you can do the curbside stuff. You just can't have folks coming in,
Right.
walking around. Why there's a 8-day difference between May 4th and May 12th on that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that anything is gonna change before May 12th, because that's already
Right.
plan change, so.
Well, yeah, that's only, a few days from now, so hopefully, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, other than that, I think we covered it.
There was one, sorry, there's only one other thing I want
Yeah.
to just mention, it's informational. This week normally is Public Employees Appreciation Week, and we pass a resolution, and departments would do stuff for their employees and all that. So with everything going on, it was decided to, we'll do that somewhere down the road, in June or July maybe.
Sure, when we get everyone back.
To allow,
Yeah.
to allow all the departments to be able to do those things with their employees, and
Yeah.
everybody's back. And so,
Good
just
idea.
wanted to put
Fair
that out.
enough. Fair enough. Okay, any other questions or comments, anybody? Anybody adjourned? Okay, thank you, everybody.
Glenn? Glenn?
Yes, sir. 3, 4 weeks.